Parshas Noach is the story of the flood, the great flood, the Mabul, and the first stories of humanity. Now, tends to be symmetrical, and it also parallels Parshas Bereshis, and it includes rectifications of sins that were in Parshas Bereshis. It also sets the stage, or begins developing ideas that will be later on expressed in the Chumash, expressed explicitly. Now, the essential story of the flood itself, the centerpiece, is the 150 days that the water was very intense upon the earth, and that it covered everything, including the highest mountains, and it washed everything away, and it destroyed all life. All people got killed and all animals got killed. The fish remained as living creatures, and the physical world, the inanimate world, pretty much remains as it was under Adam, but not 100%. The Chumash will bring exceptions to that later on, but the idea is the old world, the antediluvian world, is gone. It has served its purpose. Before that, you have the popular part that is known as the 40 days of rain 40 days of rain day and night, constant rain. It also mentions that HaKadosh Baruch Hu opened up the well springs from below, meaning that it wasn't just a rainstorm, it was also floods from the rivers and the seas that were on the earth. Okay. On the other side, you also have a period when the world was when the waters were receding, and that ends on the 27th day of the second month. Most likely, that would be considered the Jewish month of Cheshvan, but it could also be considered the month of Iyar as well. You also have a preface to this flood where it's Noah building the ark and putting the animals and the people getting into the ark in the rains starting. You also have the commentary that the old world is corrupt and wrong, which I think mushchat, corrupt, and Hamas is wrong-headed people, corrupt people that have corrupted everything. Noah is praised as being a righteous person, and tamim, that he is honest. The basic idea is that he is the refinement of the good that is in Adam and his family. Everything else, the multitude of people are all evil, and they all have to go. The whole point of the 10 generations from Adam to Noah was Noah. Everything else has to go. Okay? You have an afterword of the flood, which is the beginnings of the new world, where Noah gets out of the ark, and he offers carbon olot, burnt offerings to Hashem. He had brought a number of pure animals onto the ark, in addition to the pairs of animals, of all animals, that were going to be used to, shall we say, repopulate the earth that had been destroyed. But the additional ones that he brings, he brings some clean animals, and those he makes them as sacrifices. And it gives a pleasing fragrance to Hashem, and Hashem blesses Noah. He also establishes the rainbow as the sign that a flood will not happen again. Tells Noah to repopulate the earth. There's also, shall we say, concessions in learning, if it's possible to say, on God's part, where he basically concedes that man's heart is evil. But nevertheless, there's enough good in it for him to work with. But the idea is that he's going to have to put up with some of the evil for at least a period of time. Also, he gives man, according to the commentaries, the right to eat meat and other things that were not initially given to Adam and were considered, shall we say, undesirable. Shall we say, the flood, the story of the flood itself, to a certain extent, parallels the story of the 7 days of creation, but instead of it being the story of creation, it's the story of destruction and, shall we say, renewal. The idea of the sacrifices is a rectification of the sin of Cain, who over the sacrifices he kills his brother. In the case of Noah, the sacrifices are an unqualified success. Everybody accepts this idea of dedication to God and giving a gift to God, so to speak, that they're going to be the new progenitors of humanity, in that they have survived this bad world and probably are somewhat happy to have gotten out of a really miserable situation themselves. After that, you have a story of individuals, and it's again a story of a sin, and this is the sin basically of Ham, or Ham and his son Canaan, where Noah plants a vineyard and he gets drunk in his own home, and then he walks around in the nude. It is not clear whether Noah did anything wrong about this. Whether it's praiseworthy is a good question, but it doesn't seem to be particularly evil. In any case, he is seen by Canaan, who is the son of Ham, one of the three sons of Noah, and essentially what Ham does is he takes a look at Noah. He becomes like a peeping Tom. He oogles him, and he encourages his brothers to do the same thing, get in on a good laugh on their father. That's essentially what he's doing, at least according to the text. The commentaries are far more harsh. In any case, Shem Shem and Yafet do not take the bait. And Shem's reaction is to cover up their father, and Yafet helps them. Again, what you see is a sin of what is going to be 1/3 of humanity, but the sin that is committed is not nearly as bad as the sin of Cain, who kills his brother. Here it's just a sin of laughing at another person in a compromising position, and he is basically rebuked about that. The other two brothers do not accept this. So this is a clear improvement over what had been before. After that, what you have is the descendants of Noah, according to the 3 sons of Noah, who will be the 70 nations of the world. It does not include Israel or Esav or Yishmael. They are going to come later. And after that, you have a story of what is called the Tower of Babel, where humanity has become significantly larger. It's a significant group of people, and they band together to build this tower in order that it should be that they should make for themselves a name. It's an expression of vanity, basically. The commentaries see it actually as a symbol of rebellion. The text of the Chumash is clearly negative about this, and it stops them from making the tower. It then scatters them and gives them their own language. In fact, it says before that they were beginning to become scattered, so to speak. Each nation was, or each of the nations was finding its place, its physical place in the world, and they were developing their own language. But they had a common language, which was Lashon HaKodesh, Ivrit, Hebrew. Okay, and it comes out that basically Hebrew is going to be forgotten, kind of, or become. It's going to be the province of an elite or a small number of people or one particular nation. It may come back to life as the language of all people, meaning the international language, but that is now gone. Again, it's certainly portrayed as a sin, but it's not nearly as bad as the situation that occurred in the days of Bereshit, where it talks about that all of the thoughts of man were evil. Okay. The next after that, it has the generations from Noah to Avraham, and this is again another focus where the idea of Abraham is he is going to be the rabbi of mankind. That he is eventually going to father a nation. This is the individual who is going to father the nation, and this nation is going to give the laws of human conduct to all people. The idea of law is important, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the lawgiver. Just like he gives the laws of science, he gives the laws of human conduct, and the recipient and the vehicle for spreading this law is going to be Abraham. Now, to be exact, it's going to take several generations, a few generations from Abraham before you can actually start setting up a people. And then the story of the people of Israel is not going to begin until Parshas Shemot. But the ideas that are being given, it's later on it's in Kitisa, after the nation of Israel sins with the golden calf, where it says HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a God that's Erech Apayim, that he's takes the long view of things, sees all aspects of the face of things. It's often translated as patient. The idea is that it's going to take a while to get what he wants, but eventually he's getting it. Okay, and it says he forgives sin and iniquity, and he cleanses, but he doesn't cleanse it entirely. The basic idea, and this is the moral lesson that comes out of Noah, is the idea of that when you're engaged in a worthy endeavor, it may take a long time and a significant degree of filtering, where you have to get the one good aspect and throw out the bad aspects, and it may take a long time to get that one good aspect as well as to develop it. Part of the aspect of the tree of knowledge of good and evil Adam had enough good in him that he could eventually, one of his descendants could legitimately father all humanity in such a way that it would survive. It would still have to be tended to and weed out the bad stuff, but that one descendant would be the father of all humanity. All of the other people that lived there basically were not going to make it. There was going to be death and destruction while you were extracting this spark of good. And you have a continuation of that idea with Abraham, where he's going to, in fact, have many children. The Chumash focuses on Yitzchak, who will be successful. Ishmael is really, in fact, not that bad. You might even go so far as to say that Ishmael was the son of Yaakov, that he would have been part of the nation of Israel, but that Abraham was not quite there, that his bed could be complete. You also have all of the children of Keturah who do not become part of the holy nation. You also have the same thing with Yitzchak, where he has Esav. Again, it was not greatly evil, and you could say, well, if they talk about it, they say that if If Avraham had learned Oro with Esau, that he would not have gone astray. But the idea is for us that you have to be patient, you have to be tolerant, in that at times you may have to throw out everything except for a single seed, but over time you will eventually create a project, or God is creating a humanity that will live up to its destiny of being the ones that end and keep the Garden of Eden. Thank you.